So this way I can quickly share my drawings to my consultant with only the load bearing walls and load bearing elements. And then comes the classification part. So that is where BIM actually happens. So in the classification, I can use different classifications or standards, BIM standards. Currently, this one is following Archicad's classification. For example, if your office is having a separate BIM standard, you can upload that particular BIM standard. And in the later, if Indian government brings a BIM standard and mandates it for submission, we can bring that inside Archicad, and then based on that, Archicad will start classifying our walls and all our design elements. So basically, this classification gives us the ID and category of each and every elements, from position to options, and we can also add our own attributes and information along with these classification and properties. So this is where the information part is added. We can also add, for example, the brick size and the brick price. Based on that, Archicad will be able to calculate the number of bricks necessary for the length of the wall, and it also gives us the price what it takes. So this is the common setting that applies to all the design elements. We have just seen what it is for walls. For example, if you want me to show you the door, let me open the door setting here. Similarly, we have the same geometric settings first, the size, width, and all that, and then we have the proper door settings where how I can change my door style, frame style, and all that. And then the floor plan and section, how I want my door to be visible in the floor plan, and what color of pen and what color of line it has to show, and all that. And then the end, we have the same classification settings. So this way we decide everything while placing itself, how it should look in 2D, how it should look in 3D, and all that. So that way I can also start from 2D, something like this. I can create a floor plan, or I can also jump to the 3D from the tabs here. And this is the 3D section here. I have my orbit tool on the bottom. So I can orbit around my 3D. I can also start designing directly from 3D. And one best thing about Archicad is that there is something called pet palettes. So basically, let's say if I want to select this window here, and if I select one of the end nodes here, you can see something that is popping up here. So this is what we call as pet palette. So this palette follows us like a pet anywhere we click. And it basically gives us all the setting that has to do with the selected element. For example, now if I want to drag my window horizontally, it lets me do it. If I want to drag it vertically, it lets me do it. If I want to stretch, or again stretch it vertically or horizontally, it lets me do it right away. I don't have to remember all the shortcuts to do all these things. You know, as an architect or as a designer, this is what I used to like about Archicad, because we end up using multiple softwares when we start, and then it becomes hard to remember these shortcuts. Like in AutoCAD we do something, in Photoshop we do something, and each and every software we have different shortcuts, and then it becomes confusing at some point. So that is where Archicad was always a savior for me. So with Archicad, we have the option to either have perspective 3D output as well as the axonometric 3D output. So for us, perspective is always easy if you are also planning to work directly on 3D, just like how we would see it on SketchUp or Rhino. But on the market, if you see some other BIM tools, they only have axonometric views, and axonometric view is not always something great to work directly on 3D. For example, if I quickly switch it to axonometry, it looks good. If I want to take a render out of this view, this looks good. But it is odd if I want to work on it. The way it doesn't let me work smoothly. So that is why Archicad has both the kind of model views here. And let's go back to the floor plan, and let me also show you what we have on the right side here. Let's elaborate on the navigator here. So on the right side, we have the navigator. So the first is the project map. So in project map, we basically have stories. So stories are nothing but different floors. So when I start a project, I will be starting or deciding where my floor plans or where my different floors would start. So I can create or insert new stories above, and then I can decide my elevation and my height to the next floor. So this is how first I create my stories here. And currently now we are on ground floor. And in CAD, we have this habit of working everything on the same environment, where here my ground floor plan is, and my second floor plan would be here, first floor plan would be somewhere here. But in Archicad, it is how we design or how we model is how we see the documentations. So now we are in ground floor, and when I move to the first floor, exactly what I would see is the floor plan of first floor on top of the ground floor. So that is how, if I do something here, it will also make those changes on the 3D. And then I have my roof here. So this is how I will be working in Archicad. And for example, now let's say uh, I am on first floor, but I cannot exactly see what is down there, right? In AutoCAD, I could have my other floor drawings side by side. I can get it reference to. In Archicad, we have something called as trace and reference. For example, now I am in my first floor and I want to use or see what is there in the ground floor. I'll just right click and then do show as trace reference. So now what happens? It basically gives me the reference of what is down there below, and then I can also bring the trace and reference parameter down here, and then I'll adjust my active window a little bit and the reference also down, and now you can see the difference, or you can actually see what is there down in the first floor or the ground floor, and based on that you can start modeling on the next floor. So this is how we jump between different floors in Archicad. And then we have our section and elevation settings. So sections and elevations, since everything is connected to the 3D model, I can just open viewpoint, select section and cut or draw one line, and it will automatically create a section for me in the sections. And similarly, I can use elevation tool, draw just one line, and then it will create an elevation for me. And based on that, we will get our elevations and sections over here. So I can navigate between these sections and elevation viewpoints. And then I also have worksheets. So worksheet is basically like our rough book. So that is where Archicad comes in, like how a designer would think. For example, I would always start working or designing something by scratching something on my notebook. And then from there, I get inspiration. So worksheet basically is like a rough book. We can drag and drop anything inside it. For example, if we have something already made in AutoCAD, we can drag and drop those DWGs into these worksheets. For example, if I have some PDFs already made, I can drag and drop those PDFs into these worksheets. I can also use these worksheets just to, understand how my site is going on. Anything that you want to roughly create or keep it there for references, you can put it on these worksheets. You can also use it later when it comes to the documentation part. And then we also have details. If we want to create more intricate details just by drafting directly on top of it, we can create those details and then tag it onto locations. And the other thing that I have here is 3D documents. So before I show you the 3D documents, let me jump into 3D and I'll show you something here. Um, so we have something called 3D cutaway. So I want you to see this four corners. Currently, these four corners that we see a orange line here, that is basically like my reference lines. For example, if I want to quickly create a reference line, I can, drag it from here. When I drag it, you can also see there is a dustbin kind of thing there. I can drag it from here. I can put it here. If I want one more reference line from here, I'll drag it and put it here. If I don't want it, I'll just drag it back and put it into the dustbin. So this line works as reference. And when we move to 3D, and if I turn on 3D cutaway, along with the reference line, you can also see a scissor that is being shown on all four sides. So basically what happens, this scissor, if I try to drag towards my 3D model, it cuts my 3D model. And if I click on finalize and if I orbit to my 3D model, you can basically see now I have cut a 3D section here. This way also I can, work inside my 3D model if I'm modeling something very intricate. And let me now drag one from this end. Finalize. Now you can see I have cut my 3D model into a section. What happens is with this 3D cutaway, if I want to specifically create something or if I want to specifically make a 3D document just so that my contractor understands or my consultant understands, I can now save this as a 3D document and then I can add annotations directly here and then I can add labels here and then basically make this cut into a 3D document. You can also, we always see these nice 3D cut models on Instagram where designers post just to showcase their design, how their design is made. All these things we can make using these 3D cutaways. Now I'll show you some of the 3D documents that is made based on this sample project here. So this is actually a 3D model, but they have made it into a 3D document by adding all the annotations and stuff. That is why on floor plan, you can also see shadows over here. Similarly, let me switch to another 3D document. You can create something like this. A cutaway of your floor plan showing all the interior furnitures. And you can add colors to highlight, or you can even add textures and surfaces to highlight them. And you can also create exploded axonometry. We have seen different floors exploded to create one image where it shows different floors in broken formats. We can create those kind of exploded axonometry as well. And then we can just drag and drop each of these into a paper, and then we can add some nice creative aspects to make it into a good document. So this way we can also control our 3D documents here. And then we have jumping into 3D from here. We can create 3D views and then we can save those views either into perspective views or axonometric views. So we don't have to find that nice angle every time. Once we find it, we can also save it just like how we would save it as scenes in SketchUp. And then we have the schedule part. So schedule part is where the BOQs or quantities comes in. So inside Archicad, we can take three types of schedules. One is element based and one is component based and one is surface based. So when I say element based, all these things are elements. Wall, slabs, column, beam, door, any object that we place, lamp, railing. So these are element based schedules. For example, if I simply want to create a schedule based on all the toilet accessories here, I can create or make a schedule over there. Or if I just want to create a schedule out of walls, I can create one out of here. And then similarly, that applies with components as well. Components that will have all the, for example, if my wall, I'm also adding plasters to my wall later, so that will come as a component of the wall. So I can take out a component level schedule like load bearing walls, partition walls, or just insulations of these things. And then we also have surface based schedules. So in surface, I can quickly calculate the paint that I have used all over my building. The different finishes and tiles and all these things will come under the surface part. So to quickly show you an example, all component schedule. So basically this will have all the components. Just a second, let it load. Okay. So now you can see Archicad now almost looks like Excel. And you can see all the different components here. And then you can also see volumes and areas of these components. So based on this, I can quickly export this table into Excel or any other format if my contractor needs for purchase. I can do that. And to show another example, I'll go to finishes. Let me skip this. This seems to, yeah. Now we can see the kind of finishes I have used all over my project and what is the exposed area of those surfaces. And this table can be controlled or made based on our requirements. For example, if I go into the scheme settings here, I decide what are the field that I want in this table here and what are the criteria to select the particular element here. So based on these things, I can create different schedules based on elements, components, and surfaces. And next to the project map, we have view map. So basically, view map is where we save all these views. For example, this is my ground floor plan, and I have added these dimensions and all here. And I will save now this particular drawing as a view. So if I double click on the ground floor here, this is a view that I have saved with all these dimensions and level drawings and everything. Similarly, I'll create a folder called floor plan, and then I will save my views here. Similarly for my sections and elevations and 3D views and all the views that I've saved based on the viewpoints will come and sit here. So how I basically create this view is where I'll talk about element attributes on the bottom. So now when I click ground floor, you can basically see a lot of stuff here. And that basically includes my site and all the information that we have created in 3D. See, we have a lot of information here. The site and all the other information. If I don't want to see these in my floor plan, that is where I'll be using my element attributes here. So my element attribute first setting is scale. For example, if I will be placing my ground floor plan onto a A1 or A0 paper, and then what scale the floor plan I'll keep. So based on that, I'll select my scale at first. And then we have layers. So in layers, basically, if you had used Photoshop or something like that, you would understand what layers mean. So each and every element in Archicad is controlled by layers here. I can also create new layers and then I decide which element should sit on which layer. And based on these layers, I can create layer combinations like this. For example, floor plan layer combination. In floor plan layer combination, I decide I want to see my dimension, but site, you can see site is hidden because in floor plan I don't want to see my site information and all the structure information. So what I do, I'll turn these off and then I will save it as a layer combination. Similarly, if I want a 3D view for render, for that I'll create a layer combination and there I will turn on my site. For example, if I have some aesthetic elements, trees, plants, I'll put it on onto a layer and then I'll turn on the layer only when I want the view for render. Otherwise, I would simply put it all in turned off layers that will help me work faster and that will help me run my laptop quicker as well. So this way we can create multiple layer combinations just by turning off and on of these layers. Now you can see our layer combination is set to section, right? Let me switch it to floor plan. Now you can see the floor plan layer combination is selected and all the layers that are turned off for floor plan is now not visible in my floor plan. So this is how I will control what I see in my view and I will create my views. And next I have partial structure display. So this I can also create a drawing with entire model or without finishes, or if I'm sending it to a structural consultant, I will only send the core of the load bearing elements and or I only select core only. So this basically turns off the unnecessary details for the particular view. You can see this is wall, this is insulation. When I turned out without finishes, finishes has gone. If I do entire model, you can see now the finishes here. Finish could be paint, finish could be my plaster, whatever it could be. If I don't need it, I don't have to change it from the wall setting. I can simply adjust from my view options here. And then I have my pen tools. So for pen tools, you can see this is basically the pen table here. And each and every pen box has a pen number. So pen number 4, pen number 5. So with these pen numbers and pen boxes, I can decide the color of that particular box, and I can also decide my pen weight over there. And then I can also add a description if I'm designing or creating my own pen tool. In Archicad, currently now you can see multiple pen sets are made. For example, if I want to show my floor plan in a very colorful and conceptual way, I will add a different colors to my pen sets or pen boxes. And for my side drawing, I want different colors. Then I will add different colors to these boxes. For architectural scale 100, these will be the colors. And for scale 50, these will be the colors. So I can create these pen combinations here, or pen sets, I would say. And then I can manage how my floor plan will look without even changing it from my design elements. And these pen number is what I care about. For example, now you can see this floor plan that we have here is set to black and white pen set. If I switch it to color conceptual, you can see all my internal slabs has a colorful hatch, and my dimension is now in blue color. So how it happened basically is for this particular color conceptual pen box, for example, this dimension is now in blue color, right? Let's go to the dimension setting here, and we can go to the settings, and now it is all selected to blue here. If I change my pen setting to again black and white, now you can see it is turned to red. If I go to the setting of it again, now you can see it is automatically changed to red color. So what I have to do is just enter the pen number here. So based on the pen number and based on the pen sets, the color automatically change, and then we can using these pen set, we can quickly change the settings of what we are seeing and what we want in our view. And next we have model view option. So model view option again is like letting us control how detailed we want something in our floor plan. So I can also create different model view combinations here. For example, if I want to create a site plan, I don't want much detailed level of internal elements in my site plan. So what I'll do for the site combination here, I will turn off my columns or turn off my beams, or I'll select axis only, or slab, just the outline will be there. And doors and window, I will only show openings and I'll not even show my door leaf. But for my building plan, the door will have to show the entire level or the entire door. And if I want to go much deeper into that, I can also go there. For door settings, I can choose how detailed my door should be there in for this particular combination. For example, it is the same floor plan, but I'm sending it to someone who does not care about the doors or something. For them, a simple opening should do. For them, I will just create a layer combination like simplified floor plan, and then I'll do just a door with a line that denotes there is a door here and it opens in this direction. Similarly, I can adjust the level of complexity or level of detail for each and every element that I want to be for these elements. I can also quickly switch between these created elements, and then you can see those changes happening in the uh, floor plan here. And then next I have graphical overrides. So graphical override again is to create or is basically to override the settings that we have applied throughout all the design elements. For example, there are certain graphical overrides made. If I choose or jump between these graphical overrides, now the current setting is simplified plan with the gray lines on section. I'll just jump to simplified plan. Now you can see I don't even want to show my hatching on the walls, just a conceptual level floor plan. Then I'll jump into this graphic override. Or if I want to show something else, I want to show my zones in different colors or different surfaces, then I will create a graphic override for particularly that purpose. Here I want to show all the areas where there would be a wooden flooring. So there I wanted to show it something like this, and this view I will save it and send it to my contractor or purchase manager who will basically need these information. Basically like a tile layout or something like that. So these kind of things can be made using graphical overrides. Let me switch it back to simplified plan. So I can also decide for in this particular plan, I want all the dimensions to be in red color and all my walls to be in black color. So basically by playing with these element attributes, I create my document of my desired way. So we all have our own way of creating drawings. Architects have their own format and all these things. So these will help us create floor plans of our own desired way. And then I can also have dimensions as a quick setting here. For example, if I am comfortable working in or meters, I will be working in meters and the dimensions will be here in and meter. And now if my contractor is asking me, can you send me a drawing quickly in feet and inches? I don't have to redo it. I'll create a dimension here with feet and inches, and then I'll just switch from one layout to the other. So what it does, it basically changes my dimension to the created layout. So I can create and keep preset of all these different dimension options here. I'll just change something and then store it with different units like feet and fractional inches or decimal inches, whatever I want. So instead of changing these things, I can quickly just jump between the different dimensions. I can keep one set of floor plan with as dimension, and I can keep one set of floor plans with feet and inches as dimensions, and that is where we kind of save all these drawings into views, and then we create layout books here. Layout books are basically like the paper space. For example, we create the paper here, and then we design our drawing template. And since Archicad is smart enough, we can create these drawing template, and we can also automate it. So we have masters over here. So in masters is where we design these automated stuffs. For example, here you can see we can put our company logo, we can add the project name and all that. And all these things that you see with hashtag here are automated information. So drawing name, hashtag, drawing name is the automated feed, release date, layout name, everything that you see with the hashtag is a automated information. So what happens is when I create a layout based on these masters, and all I have to do is just drag and drop these things here, and then all these information gets automatically changed based on the drawing that I have dragged and dropped here. For example, if I drag and drop it here, you can see drawing name has automatically changed to ground floor. And let me switch the scale here. Okay. Drawing scale is now automatically changed to 1:50. If I change it back to 1:200, then if I click on update, it will automatically get changed. So this way, I can keep on creating my layouts here. I can also put in my renders here. So basically, I'm creating a presentation sort of thing with my all the views that I created. I just dragged and dropped into my sheets. Create different publisher set based on maybe submittals or based on formats. In here, for example, I have one set for DWG. If someone is asking me, can you send me all these drawings in DWG, then I'll switch to my DWG setup here. If someone is asking PDF, then I'll jump to PDF. And all I have to do is click on publish. If I click on publish, all these drawings will go out and get saved in a folder within a single click. And then I have other setting as well. If someone is asking me IFC, then I'll send them the IFC model. And I also have BIMX. So BIMX is again the format which I said is used for the presentation or the tool that we can help share it with our clients or to showcase our projects. So this is how simple we can create our drawings inside Archicad with the basic tools here. To quickly show how BIMX works. So this is the user interface of BIMX here. Now I'm using the desktop version of BIMX. If you have the same model on your phone, you can install BIMX mobile application, and then you can see the same thing in your phone. So what here happens is when I saved my publisher set into the BIMX format, my 3D model is also there, and some alterations I made with my model is there, and my documentation is also there. So let me quickly jump to my floor plan and go to my site plan. So now this acts like my presentation tool. For example, consider this is my iPad or a tablet, and then I can quickly, show my designs here, just like a slideshow of all my drawings, and then I can zoom into, and then I can show you what is happening there. I can also quickly do a measure tool and then show you the actual measurements. And there is one more part where, for example, if you're confused about what this area here, you can quickly, click on show in 3D, and what it does is a beautiful transition between the 2D document to the 3D model exactly at this point. So this is where it becomes a hyper model where you convert or you show what is exactly happening from 2D to 3D by cutting or showing exactly what is there. And this is possible because we have made everything from the 3D model or the BIM model which we have created. Same goes with our sections also. If you are in the section and if you are at any particular point, or even there is a detail that you have cut out of the section and you want to show these detail in 3D, if you click on 3D, it will automatically take us to the part where this thing is exactly cut. So along with the 2D model, as along with the 2D drawing as well as the 3D model, you can see what is going on and where it is coming inside. Along with that, it also gives information of each and every element. Since every element inside Archicad is built with information. For example, if the client is clicking on this particular door here, and if they do right click and then they do select element info, they can quickly see on which wall this particular door is and what is the height of the wall and all that. I'll select the door now and do element info. Now you can see the height of the door, width of the door, and if I had added information like who is the manufacturer for this door along with the price, then you can also see that here. So all the information your client or your consultant can get from this particular BIMX model here. You can also add your presentation sheets here. So this is the exploded 3D document we were talking about. So I can compile them beautifully. I don't even have to jump into Photoshop or Illustrator to make something like that. I can make it directly inside Archicad, and then I can put all my renders together and then publish it for my presentation and my schedules as well onto the drawings with all the information of zones, areas, and elements. And since all these things are interconnected and we took it out of the BIM model, for example, if my client is asking where does this particular door comes in, so I don't have to, go look into the plans. I'll just click onto this door and then the model will take me to the area and it is now telling me this is that particular door here. So now I'll be like, okay, I'll get the information of that. Or if I don't want to see that door, I'll just hide it. These are the things that I can do within my BIMX model. I can also do a quick walkthrough or showcase my design. And you can see this doesn't even need a rendered walkthrough, just like how we would see it in Lumion or Twinmotion. This is already looking like a 3D rendered walkthrough, which is very live. I can control it on my own. If I do the uh, walk around tool here, I can click on gravity, which will basically let me sit on the floor. And I can use joystick mode to control my navigation here. I can also connect it with an actual gamepad or joystick, and then I can do my walkthrough or present it. So now you can imagine I can do all these things using just my phone, showing my drawings and my 3D model. So that is how impressive the software and BIMX is. So with this, I'd like to conclude my demo and
Shiva, can
I
you come
think,
back to the presentation?
yes, sure.
So if anyone has any questions, they can raise their hand and we'll give you rights to unmute yourself and you can unmute and ask any kind of question related to the demo or Archicad in general. Anything you want to ask, you can. I think I can see something in the chat. Anything anybody wants to ask regarding the demo or Archicad? Okay. So, Shiva, we have this question that which is better, Archicad or Revit?
So to answer this question, for example, if you are new to BIM,
And if you are an architect, I would say Archicad is better because it introduces BIM to you in a much user-friendly way. And then the user interface and the workflow of the software is much built based on your workflow or a designer's workflow. If you're a firm that is open to all kind of collaborations happening in the same roof, then I would say you can prefer Revit. For example, if you have multidisciplinary teams working in the same office or in the same room, then you know you wouldn't have to look for a software that is separately used for architects and separately used for structural and MEP designers. Then you can always go with Revit. But if you are a design team and you focus on architecture and designing aspect, then since we all work in the open BIM environment, I would say Archicad is way better than Revit.
And I would also like to add that Archicad offers you a lot of flexibility. Uh, so when we discussed about classification and layers, that is not something that any other software is providing you. Or when we talk about having objects linked, that also makes your workflow very smooth. And apart from that, having inbuilt visualization. So yes, rightly said by Shiva, architecturally this is this is one of the best softwares to go for. A simulation like 4D or 5D possible in Archicad as well. Shiva, we have the next
Um,
question. Is
yeah,
simulation
yeah.
like 4D or 5D possible in Archicad as well?
So 4D simulations, basically what you can do is you can create, you will be able to create a video or simulation based on the construction timeline. So that is possible. Uh, And for 5D simulation, basically, if it involves the pricing aspect, then you can always, if you enter these information, then you can always get it out of Archicad. But again, people prefer to have separate simulation tools. And for example, there is a tool called Primavera, and there is a tool called Plannerly. So these tools, what it does, it takes out the model from Archicad, and then we can also, focus more on to the project management aspect, and then we can also create simulations based on the project completion stages. So that could be the answer for this question.
Okay. Do
Since
we
the
have any other?
software, yeah, since the software
We
has the interoperability and connection with all the tools, it doesn't stop us from getting anywhere.
Someone says, does ArchiCAD have tools or workflows that allow the creation of parametric forms suitable for bamboo architecture? So,
So we also, yeah, uh, like how Dynamo works with Revit, we also have a tool called Paramo inside Archicad, which basically gives us visual coding, just like how Grasshopper works with Rhino. So we have Paramo inside Archicad, which we can use to code visually, just like how we would do it in Rhino and Grasshopper. So this will help us create our own objects inside ArchiCAD. So for example, if there is a parametric form asked for a bamboo architecture, so we can create that structure within ArchiCAD itself using Paramo. Or if you already have those things made in Rhino and Grasshopper, you can always connect Rhino with Archicad through the plugin, and then you can bring all your free forms into Archicad just by connecting with Rhino. Or, for example, if you have something made in SketchUp or 3ds Max, you can always drag and drop inside Archicad, and then you can bring all these 3D objects inside Archicad. But if you want to control the parametric ability of that object, then I would say you can make it inside Archicad itself, or from Rhino Grasshopper connection, you can still control the parametric aspect of the forms. I think, yeah, we should move on to the next slide since
Okay.
okay, he's
Okay.
typing.
So okay. Okay.
I'll move on to the new slide so that you can continue with your end note with your things.
Yes. So yeah, someone has written though, can Archicad collaborate with Revit workflow?
Okay.
What?
So to answer this question, um, if you already have created families and objects in Revit, you can bring those inside Archicad. You can directly bring RFAs and you can import RFAs into Archicad and convert them into GDL. So that is one way you can bring in your models. You can also export Archicad model into RVT format. You can also read RVT files in Archicad, but there would be little bit mismatch within the classification here and there. I can say Autodesk and Nemetschek has collaborated to make this process much easier. And ever since we also have a plugin for this particular reason, and that plugin will help us export Revit models for IFC purpose, and it also imports Archicad's IFC within Revit. So now we have this particular plugin that has been developed in collaboration between Autodesk and Nemetschek. So in future, it would be much more easier, and we will have a proper workflow between all these softwares. So currently, this is how we work within or between the Revit teams and Archicad teams. We work directly by exchanging IFCs.
Yes. Okay. Moving on to the next slide, you can see thinking beyond beams and columns, having that flexibility. So all those buildings that are visible to you, these are all done primarily, or in fact, basically completely on Archicad. The Rajkumari Ratnavati Girls School is an oval-shaped building by Diana Kellogg Architects in Rajasthan, and it has all the energy simulations, different kind of materials. Everything on this is done on Archicad. The new Indian Parliament building by HCP Design, it has also been done completely on Archicad. So you can see the kind of scale, the kind of flexibility, the shape, the form, everything, how it's very different, and how it's very flexible, and yet it has been modeled on a very, I would say, very flexible software. And you cannot also say that, there are restrictions in terms of any kind of restrictions when you look at the form and on the scale as well. So Merdaka 118, which is like the tallest building in Malaysia and the second tallest currently, it has been done on Archicad as well. And then there's a stadium called Arena MRV. I'm unable to see the image, but you can always Google it. And yeah, now those images visible. This has also been done on Archicad completely. So you can see the wide span structures, tall structures, small scale structures, structures of government importance, where collaboration and stakeholders and everything was of importance. All these have been done on Archicad, and very smoothly they have been done, executed, and stand successfully. So whenever you're thinking beyond beams and columns, and you're thinking of designing first, I would say it's very nice to go with Archicad to achieve some output like this. Can we move on to the next slide?
Yeah, I just like to add a point here.
Definitely.
Um, so the architect, Mr. B.V. Doshi, the only architect with a um, Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. So their firm has been always a user of Archicad and even now, both of their firms, Sangat and Sankalpa, is using architects ever since. And that is one of the proud user case, which I can say that I've worked with them uh, when I was working with Graphisoft as a technical expert, even with HCPs, the Parliament building and stuff. So we have a lot of scope developing in India for architects with Archicad skills, and Archicad is now being recognized in India in many design firms, and I
Yes.
think this
And
is a
in
great
fact,
skill. Yeah.
yes. In fact, HCP Designs has adopted Archicad as their primary software in architecture. And even Sameep Padora architects have also, I think, in the last year, uh, changed to this software. So yes, there are a lot of firms that are adopting this software due to the
Yes.
kind of flexibility and advantages it is able to provide over the other softwares. Can we come towards the next slide? Okay, so as Shiva was talking about leveling up your design career and the scope of Archicad in India, uh, he rightly said that the scope is increasing day by day, and this is one of the softwares that is globally definitely used. Zaha Hadid architects have been a user, Big has been a user, and because of the interoperability that it is able to offer. Uh, the concept of open BIM, uh, Archicad is definitely very much preferable. And I'm architect Shivani Chandra speaking from Acing. We are based in East Delhi, and we are Nemetschek Authorized Training Center. We are starting our courses on 1st December 2025, and you will get certified as certification jointly from Nemetschek and Acing. And this is one of the emerging BIM tools. And countries like Australia and Europe, Japan, they're already using these software. So you are definitely, if you're having an add-on in your portfolio, it's definitely going to be better for freelancers and practice people who are practicing. Uh, this software is definitely going to save you a lot of cost and time and um the frustration as well. So yeah, delivering then delivery from designing to documentation, one solo software is able to handle it very easily. So you can see that this software is good for student designers, BIM specialists, project leads, and globally collaborating as well. Can we come towards the next slide? So you can see why I'm saying this is because you're getting a very high level of output versus comparatively lower software cost. Saving time, you're saving money. And the workflow is very sorted and efficient, as you could see in the demo presented by Architect Shiva. Can we come towards the next slide? So you can visit us at www.acing.in and enroll at special prices for those who have joined this webinar. And can we, you can explore the full syllabus, and you can visit the website. Shiva, can you just press the website or visit the website? You can go to our courses, and it's there on the top, our courses, and you can find the Archicad course over there and press on no more. You can press on the red no more. Over there, you will get an option to download the syllabus. If you can just scroll down, you'll get an option to download the syllabus or enroll. and you will get all the details. Can you move downwards? Okay. And here you can see that we are offering both online batches as well as offline batches, and enrollment forms are also live. And you can see all the perks that you will be getting. And Shiva, if you could move further, so that we can just discuss the course. Just maneuver once the whole page, and Shiva, we can move forward. We'll just give a glance of it, and we can visit it later on. So you can see all the modules and understand the level of course. It's a beginner friendly level as of now, and you can join in. And it's a 1 month course, and you can join in and get a hands-on training on this software, both in online modes and offline modes, and you can get the details over here. And Shiva, can we come back to the Google Slides only, the presentation? And we'll be sharing code with you for enrollment to offer a discount because you have joined the webinar. Next, can we come to the next? And all the participants will be getting via mail a cheat sheet and some visuals on, the cursor and the navigation, and some little tips and tricks on Archicad, and discount coupon for enrollment. Can we come towards the next slide? Okay, so here we are ending. And if there's anything that anybody wants to speak, uh, they can unmute themselves or write in the chat. Yes, so definitely you can visit the website. You'll get a certification from Nemetschek directly, and from Acing as well. And for this webinar, okay, no, for this webinar, there is no certification as such, because you got a demo over here, so we can't certify for that. Can we create a 3D reinforcement? Can we create a 3D reinforcement with Archicad? Are you, Mohammed, are you talking about structural things? Can we do that with Archicad?
Um, yeah, I think he's talking about the structural reinforcement. Yes, we do have a plugin called Eptar. So Eptar is also they have multiple plugins, one for reinforcement and there is one for landscape as well. And yes, so inbuilt within Archicad, we cannot make, or we do not have elements for rebar or structuring, just like how Allplan has. Again, Allplan is also a product of Nemetschek, which has the rebar and the rebar calculation and all that, which inbuilt Archicad does not have. But you can obviously use Eptar, the plugin, and then you can create these 3D rebars and all your bar structures, and then you can also convert your 3D elements into particular parameters, and then you can also calculate or use them in your schedules and all that. I hope that answers the question. Shivani, am I audible?
I think it, yeah, you are audible.
Yeah.
I think it does satisfy the question. And if we have any more questions, you can write it on the chat. Shiva, I think there are no more questions, so we can conclude for the day. And It was really nice to have you all in the meeting. And Shiva, I would like to especially thank you as well for fabulous demo session.
Yes.
And I think to all the participants
Thank you.
also,
Thank
thank
you,
you so much
Shivani,
for
and thank you for this opportunity.
thank you so much to all the participants as well. Uh, I think we'll conclude this webinar, and it was really nice. It was a really nice and insightful one. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all.